Hello, so buddies, you're welcome back again to this YouTube channel. It's Whitney Highway, and if this is your first time here, you're highly welcome. And if you're an already subscriber, thank you so much for sticking with me on this beautiful journey. It's been a while and I've missed you so much. Well, I'm back. I just had to take a break and refuel. Well, in this video we'll be making this free play suit that has a tying strap at the shoulder. There's also the one without the tying strap at the shoulder. There's also the one with a pocket at the front. So whichever you want, you can go for it. There are different varieties. This play suit is so cute, and I think this video is not even doing justice to it. So if this is something you're interested in making, then do well and keep watching and do not touch the dial. I made use of these two different Ankara print. They are about 2.5 yards together. This one is 1 yard and 9 inches. The other Ankara print is also 1 yard and 9 inches, making it 2.5 inches together. Now you can decide to use just one Ankara print or any other fabric of your choice. I decided to use two different Ankara prints just to spice up this play suits. I am going to drag this on a pattern paper before transferring it to the fabric, but if you wish, you can go ahead and draft this directly on your fabric. Now, the first step in drafting is from the center front here, I'll go in by 3 inches, and this 3 inches space is for the crotch extension. Now, this works for hip 46 inches and below. If the hip size you're working with is bigger than 46 inches, then you will need to calculate for how much space you need to leave for the crotch extension with the formula displayed on the screen, which is you will divide the round hip measurement by 4, and whatever you get, you divide it by 4 again, and then you add half an inch for sewing allowance and use it to mark out this space for the crotch extension. So the hip measurement I'm working with is 40 inches. Divided by 4 gives me 10 inches. 10 inches divided by 4 again gives me 2.5 inches, and I added half an inch for sewing allowance, making it 3 inches. So that's why I marked out 3 inches from the center front and from the top till I got to the down part of the pattern paper, after which I connected the dots together to get a straight line. And take note that this straight line is now the new center front. Moving on, I will go ahead and mark out the shoulder measurement divided by 2. So the shoulder measurement I am working with is 16 inches. Divided by 2 gives me 8, and that is what I'll mark out here. You can see how I place my tape starting from the new center front. Next, from the shoulder, I'll mark out the armhole depth, and to get the armhole depth, you divide the round bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5, and for me it is 7.8 inches, which I've marked out. So here I'm just double checking to ensure it gives me the shoulder measurement so that I will get a straight line when connecting the shoulder measurement to the armhole depth. Moving on, I will mark out the neck width, which is 3.5 inches, and from the shoulder here I will come down by 1 inch, and I will go ahead and connect the neck width to the 1 inch here like so to get the shoulder slant or slope. After doing this, the next step is to go ahead and mark out the chest line, and to get the chest line, I'll divide my round bust measurement by 4 and mark it out. And the round bust measurement I'm working with is 38 inches. Divided by 4 gives me 9.5, and that is what I've marked out, and I'll go ahead and connect it straight down. Next is to draw out the armhole curve, and to do that, I'll get the midpoint from the shoulder slope to the chest line, and I'll go ahead and mark it out like so. From that midpoint, I'll come in by half an inch, and I'll go ahead and connect the shoulder slope to the half an inch and to the chest line to get the armhole curve like this. Now, after doing this, the next step is to go ahead and mark out the waistline. Now, take note that this is optional. If you want your play suit to be curved, to be shaped, then go ahead and mark out the waistline. But if you do not want a curved play suit, then don't bother marking out the waistline, you get. So for me, I want my waistline to be curved, so I'll go ahead to be shaped, so I'll go ahead and mark out the waistline, and I'm using the front waistline, which is 17.5 inches. And after marking it out from the shoulder, I'll go ahead and connect the dots together to get a straight line, and this line is the waistline. Moving on, from the waistline, I'll come down by either 8 or 9 inches to get the hip line. So for me, I am marking out 8 inches from the waistline. So after marking this out, I'll bring in my rule to connect the dots together to get a straight line like so, and this line is the hip line. Now it's time to mark out the crotch depth. To get the crotch depth, I will divide the round hip measurement by 4 And because this is a free play suit, I don't need the crotch depth dragging into the body. So for that reason, I'll be adding extra 3 inches or 3.5 inches to give ease to the crotch depth. Yes, it needs to be free around that area. So the round hip measurement I'm working with is 40 inches. Divided by 4 gives me 10 inches. Now 10 plus the 3.5 inches gives me 13.5 inches. So from the waistline, I marked out 13.5 inches and I connected the dots together to get a straight line, and this line is the crotch depth. Moving on, I will go ahead and mark out how long I want this playsuit to be. And for me, I want my playsuit to be 35 inches long. For this pattern paper, it is exactly 35 inches long. So I will just use the length of this pattern paper as the length for my playsuit. Now it's time to mark out the round bodice measurement. But before I do that, I want this playsuit to be very free around the body. So I will be adding ease to the measurement. Now on the chest line, I'll go ahead and add 2.5 inches for ease on this chest line here, and I'll connect it back to the chest line like this. And now on the waistline, I'll divide my round waist measurement by 4 and mark it out. The round waist measurement I'm working with is 32, divided by 4 gives me 8, and I'll go ahead and mark it out here and also add the 2.5 inches, which is for both ease and sewing allowance. And I'll go ahead and connect it to the chest line. And like I earlier stated, if you want this exact bust shape playsuit, then you don't have any business marking out the waistline or imputing the round waist measurement. So on the hip line, I'll also go ahead and mark out the round hip measurement divided by 4. Also add the 2.5 inch for ease, and I'll connect it to the waistline. Now I'll measure what I have on this hip line here from this center front to what I just marked out here. And what I have here is 12.5 inches, and I'll mark exactly this on the crotch depth line like so. And I'll go ahead and connect this to the hip line and also connect it straight down to the hem like so. Next, I'll go ahead and extend this crotch extension line into this 3 inches open space that I marked out earlier on. And I'll go ahead and connect this line to the center front with a curve like this. And I'll also connect this extended crotch line to the hem with a curve like so. And that is it for the crotch extension. Moving on, since the playsuit is sleeveless, I will have to go in from the shoulder by 1 inch like so, and I'll connect it back to the chest line like this. Now it's time to draft out the neckline. So you can decide if you want the round neckline or the V neckline. And for the body type I am working with, the V neckline fits better. So I'll be going with the V neckline. So I'll go ahead and mark out 7 inches for the neck depth here, and I'll connect this to the neck width with either the straight line or the slight curved line to get the V neckline like so. And this armhole curve with the asterisk is the new armhole curve. And this center front line here is also going to serve as the center back as well, because I'll be using this pattern to also cut out the back pattern. So next, it's time to cut out this pattern because it is ready. So I'll go ahead and cut this out like so. Cut out the center front like this. Cut out the neckline, the shoulder, the new armhole, and cut out the side as well. And for the sewing allowances on the center front, I'll be adding 1/2 inch. And for the center back, if you want to add zip to your center back, you go ahead and add 1 inch on the center back. And also for the neckline, I'll be adding 0.5 inch, which is 1/2 inch. On the shoulder, 1/2 inch. On the armhole, 1/2 inch. Now for the side seam, there is no need for allowance because I've already added allowance when drafting out. And for the hem here, I'll be adding 2 inches for hemming allowance. So here is it on the fabric. I've already outlined the allowance. On the armhole, you can see the 1/2 inch here. On the shoulder, 1/2 inch. On the neckline, 1/2 inch. And for the center front here, 1/2 inch. And then I went ahead to blend it into the crochet extension line. So right now at the hem here, I'll go ahead and add hemming allowance. So here I felt the 35 inches for my playsuit length was quite short. So I decided to add 1 extra inches to it, making it 36 inches for the playsuit length. After doing this, I'll go ahead and connect the lines together to get a straight line like this. And this will be the desired length for this playsuit. From the playsuit length, I came down by 2 inches, which is for the hemming allowance, and I'll bring in my rule to connect the dot together to get a straight line, and this line is the hemming allowance line. Moving on, I will connect this crotch extension line to the hem, leaving half an inch allowance. For the pocket, I'll come down by 1.5 or 2 inches from the waistline. And from this 1.5 or 2 inches mark, I'll decide how wide I want the pocket opening to be. So I marked out 7 inches for the pocket opening here. And now it's time to cut out the fabric. So I'll go ahead and cut out this front pattern or fabric. I also went ahead to snip the ends of the playsuit length to make it easier when aiming this playsuit, and I also snip the pocket opening and the 2 inches mark here for the pockets. Now it's time to draft out the back pattern, so I'll go ahead and fold the other Ankara print into two and place the front pattern on it. And while placing the front pattern, I will leave the same 3 inches space on the center back here at the crotch extension, the same way I did on the pattern paper. Now I will go ahead and bring in my rule and extend the front crotch extension line into the 3 inches space here, and this will give me the back crotch extension. Now, because this is a free playsuit and it also has tying straps, I do not need zip for this playsuit. But in cases displayed above where you need zip, just go ahead and add 1 inch from center back here, from the pattern paper up to the hip line, and that will serve as the zipper allowance. And you will go ahead and blend the neckline into the zipper allowance. If you also want the neckline deeper at the back pattern, you can go ahead and create a deeper neckline. At the hem, because the back pattern of a pant is bigger than the front pattern of a pant, I will come out by 2 inches from the center back like so, which is this straight line on the pattern paper. And I'll go ahead and connect like this and curve it into the back crotch extension like so. At this point, the back pattern is almost ready. So for this upper crotch extension, I'll go ahead and blend this into the ½ inch sewing allowance like so. And now it's time to cut out the back pattern. So I'll go ahead and cut it out with the zipper allowance so you get to see it. But take note, I am not sewing in zip for mine, but I just want to show you how the back pattern would look like when cutting with zipper allowance. And I'll also go ahead and snip the ends of the playsuit length and also the pocket point as well. And now I can take out the pattern paper and label the fabrics front pattern and back patterns respectively. Moving on, it's time to start stitching this playsuit piece together. And the first step is to close up the center front here using ½ inch sewing allowance. So I'll close it up from the neckline to the crotch extension. I will also bring in the back pattern and close up the center back from the neckline to the crotch extension. But if you are putting in zip, you just go ahead and mark out 13 inches from the neckline, or mark out how long you want your zip to be, and from that marking point you close it up to the crotch extension. And the opening is where you sew in the zip. Yeah, I have closed up the center front, and I've also gone ahead to cut out interface for the front and back pattern. And the interface I cut out has no opening on the center front, neither does it have on the center back. For the interface, I cut exactly the neckline, the armhole. For the center front and center back, I stopped at 5 inches away from the neckline, and on the side I stopped at 4 inches away from the armholes. So here 4 inches, and from the neckline 5 inches. Moving on, I will go ahead and turn the hem of the interface by folding half an inch twice on the wrong side, and then I'll run a straight stitch on it, and I'll do that on both interface. Next, I'll also go ahead and turn the hems of the playsuits by folding in 1 inch twice, and then I'll run a straight stitch to it, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll also repeat the same thing on the back pattern. For the back pattern, I have gone ahead to close up the center back and also turn the hems of the playsuit. Right now, it's time to cut out the pocket piece. So here's the pocket piece, and for the pocket piece, I have 4 of this that I have cut out, and they're about 13 inches wide and 10 inches long. From one side of the pocket piece, I marked out 7.5 inches, and I'll just curve it downward, and upward I'll also draw a random curve to meet up with the downward curve, with the down curve rather, and I'll bring in my scissors and cut it. So this is a type of shape that I want for my pocket, so I did this on the 4 piece together. Next, I'll bring in the back pattern, and I'll place the pocket piece on both sides of the pocket point. And in placing it, I'll make sure that the right side of the pocket piece is facing the right side of the back pattern. And I'll go ahead and pin the beginning of the pocket piece on the 2 inches or 1.5 inches points that I snipped earlier on for the pocket point. And I'll also go ahead and do the same thing on the other side as well, and I'll repeat the same thing on the front pattern as well. And I'll go ahead and stitch it down to the sides using 0.25 inch sewing allowance. For the shoulder, I've also gone ahead to cut out the straps for the shoulder. And for the straps, I cut out 4 of it, 2 for the back pattern and 2 for the front pattern. And the width of each strap is 6 inches and the length is 15 inches. When I fold it into 2, the width will be 3 inches. And that's the same thing I have for all 4 straps. So right now I'll go ahead and close up the sides of the strap like this using half an inch, and I'll also close up one end of the strap as well. So I'll close up the side and close up one end, leaving the other end open to turn this over to the right side. So I'll go ahead and do this, and I'll come back and show you. Moving on, I have gone ahead to sew in the pocket piece to each side of the pocket point, as you can see. And I've also gone ahead to turn the hem of the front pattern as well. So now I'll bring in the straps, which are ready to be sewn to the shoulders. And for the straps, I've sewn them and I've flipped them to the right side. So in placing them, I'll be placing the open ends of the straps on the shoulders like this, on the middle part of the shoulder like so. You can see the way I'm placing it. And after placing each straps on each shoulders, I'll go ahead and bring in the interface of this exact Ankara print. But before placing it, I'll bring in pins to hold the straps down to the shoulders like so. And in placing the interface, I'll make sure that the right side of the interface is facing the right side of the fabric, and I'll place it like this. Now that I have placed it, it's time to close up the necklines, close up the shoulder, close up the armhole. I will go ahead and close up the armhole using half an inch, and when I'm getting to the shoulder here, I will take the stitch straight down to the end of the strap where I can feel the end of the strap here. That's where the stitch will get to at the shoulder. Then I'll close up the shoulder using half an inch sewing allowance as well. And for the neckline, I'll also start my stitch from the end of the strap here. That is from the end of the strap here. On this side of the shoulder, I'll start the stitch and close up the armhole. And I also close up the stitch starting from this other end of the strap, and then enter into half an inch allowance and close up the neckline. And I'll repeat the same thing on the other shoulder as well. And I'll also do the same thing to the back pattern. So I'll go ahead and do this now. Close up the armhole, the shoulders, and the neckline. So moving on, this is it. I have closed up the armhole, I have closed up the shoulder, I've closed up the neckline, Now I will go ahead and notch the seam allowances or give it a little snip, which is a little cut, and I'll make sure that the cuts do not get to the stitches. The reason for doing this is to ensure that the stitches are relaxed once you turn this over to the right side, so you can see how relaxed they are. So after doing this, I'll go ahead and iron. The next step is to go ahead and close up the sides. I'll bring in the back pattern, which I've also gone ahead to sew in the interface and straps, and in placing it, I'll make sure that the right side of the back pattern is facing the right side of the front pattern. Now if you want to reinforce the interface, you can go ahead and place Amy gum in between the interface and the fabric and iron just to hold the interface further in place. And to close up the sides, I'll follow through like this using half an inch. So I'll do the same thing on this other side. Close up the sides starting from the armhole, the pocket, and like this. And then I'll also go ahead and put the crotch extensions together, making sure that the crotch joinings are lying directly on each other, and I'll use pin to hold them in place. And I'll also go ahead and close up the crotch extension using half an inch sewing allowance. So this is the outcome. You can see how beautiful it is, and like I earlier stated, this video did not do justice to this play suit at all. It is so beautiful on ground. It is so beautiful, so beautiful. And if you've stayed this far and long, meaning you enjoyed this video, and if you also find it helpful, please do well to hit on that subscribe button, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also get to share this video. So see you on my next video. Love ya. Mwah.